Hey guys, it's Candy. Welcome back to another Sunday book video. I just got done reading It Ends With Us several hours ago and I need to talk about it. So I thought it would be kind of fun to make a video talking about this book. It is not going to be spoiler free. I'm going to just assume you've already read this book. You just want to hear another person's viewpoint and opinions after reading this book. And that's what I'm going to give you guys today. First, I have to say that I absolutely loved this book. 5 stars, hands down. If I could give it more than 5 stars, I would. It is officially my new favorite Colleen Hoover book. And yes, it's crazy with as many books as I read. I think I'm on like 70 something books read just in this year alone. You'd think I would have read this book already, but I purposely waited to read this. Once I heard It Starts With Us was coming out, I purposely waited to read this right around the time when It Starts With Us came out, so that way I could read them back to back. And it is Sunday and It Starts With Us comes out on Tuesday. I pre-ordered it, so hopefully Amazon gets it here before the end of the day so I can jump into it immediately. And then you guys will have to come back and watch my book discussion video about It Starts With Us. I'm not gonna get into like, oh, let's start at the beginning and this happens and this happens and this happens. Again, assuming you read the book, I just wanna share my feelings with you because I need to share them with someone. From the beginning, starting out this book, I fell in love with Ryle immediately. Like, the way I visualize him, he's just so good looking. The whole how Lily was like always dying every time he had scrubs on. I could feel that. I get that. I loved Ryle. And I'm still in love with Ryle. And I still want Lily to be with Ryle. And I know that's not normal. And I'm going to talk about that more. Let's talk about Atlas first. I get Atlas. I get why so many people are Team Atlas. I get the whole young love, first love. He went through something really traumatizing. She went through a really hard time, her childhood growing up. They had that experience that bonded them together. The whole moment where Lily's dad was literally beating the crap out of her mom and Lily was gonna go in there with what, I think it was a baseball bat and beat the crap out of him. And Atlas pulled her back in the room, and so her mom found out about Atlas. She didn't even get in trouble, like all that. Like, I felt that deeply. However, I don't know, sometimes I feel like maybe you go through such traumatizing things with somebody that maybe that's just the extent of your relationship. Like, I don't want to say this. I really felt and agreed with Lily, like, why didn't he come back for her? And his whole excuse, oh, I did, and I seen you at college and you look so happy. Like, who flipping cares how happy she is? What, did you want her to be sitting outside crying every single day, waiting for you to return? Like, you should have just still talked to her, said hi, seen how she was doing. Maybe she was waiting for you to come back, was just getting involved in other relationships to mask her pain. Like, to me that was so frustrating, and it was almost like, you don't deserve her, Atlas, because you didn't do the right thing. You promised you were coming back, you didn't. That was your shot, you know? Let's talk about the abuse with Ryle, because I know that's the biggest issue here. I was disappointed, and I said this on my Instagram story, I was disappointed that Ryle, someone who's a neurosurgeon, he's obviously amazingly intelligent. He said he was going through therapy himself. Like, why didn't he suggest that him and Lily go through some kinds of therapy? And I don't even mean the therapy where you sit down and talk about stuff. Like, there's even bigger, deeper types of therapy you can get into to really figure out, like, what was his issue. To me, and I've not been involved in an abusive relationship, so obviously cut me some slack here. I'm not speaking from experience. This is just as an outsider reading the story and reacting to it. I felt like his abuse was not the same as Lily's dad's abuse. Lily's dad's abuse seemed like he was one of those guys who just was never happy, went to work every day, hated his job, came home and beat the shit out of his wife because he hated his life. He wasn't really a good father. He took his unhappiness out on Lily's mom. I just feel like his physical abuse was 100% intentional every time. He came home pissed off, mad at Lily's mom, and beat the crap out of her and seemed to pretty much enjoy it. And I don't know, you never really got to see or hear or experience any of his like remorse. Like that was never really in the book. Like, did he even apologize? I don't know. Ryle, on the other hand, it seemed like his abuse was coming from jealousy, trust, fear of losing Lily. Like he even said at the very beginning, I don't want to get into a relationship, because he knew from his past what happened with him killing his younger little brother. He had been through such a traumatic experience himself. He knew emotionally he could not handle losing. Well, let me back up. Loving someone so much and then losing them. So to me, and this is why I was like crying through the last 100 and some pages, he was so fearful of losing Lily. That's where the temper came from. And I'm not condoning the temper. There's no reason in this world any man should ever have a right to lay his hands on a woman. I don't care. Like, no, I'm not saying, oh, he had a reason to, you know, push her or push her down the stairs or any of that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I feel like he could have gotten some help and maybe dealt with his issues. And maybe she could have been part of that process and maybe helped. I don't know. I'm not saying the female is ever responsible for like, oh, avoid his triggers and he won't lose his temper. Like she didn't do anything wrong. She did keep some secrets, but my God, everybody has secrets. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I get why the story went in the direction that it did. And it ended, I guess, the way it was supposed to. Lily always made the point to say, like, if you love me, you won't want to stay with me because you don't want to hurt me physically again. And then when she was like, what would you tell your daughter if, the part's gonna make me cry. What would you tell your daughter if a man did this to her? Would you want her to stay? And he said no. Again, I get it 100%, but on the other hand, when somebody has like, would you call this a mental health issue? I feel like kinda. When you have somebody who's dealing with trauma in their own lives that causes such deep insecurities that makes them kind of flip a switch and go crazy and do things that they do regret instantly, don't you think there's a little bit to work with there? Like, get some help. Go to a therapist. Figure it out. Do you just ditch the person high and dry and not like help him get better? Maybe even if Lily was still gonna say she wanted a divorce, fine, get divorced. It's weird to me that she just wants to get a divorce and not be around him, but yet she's gonna allow the daughter to have visitation and be around him alone without her there. Like, isn't there a fear, what if he loses his temper with the baby? You know, that was weird to me as well. So that leads me into It Starts With Us. Like, what is this book going to be about? Is it going to be just about Lily and Atlas's relationship? How much is Ryle going to be in the story? Because I feel like they have a lot of stuff to work out. The divorce, the visitation. Do we really think that Ryle is going to sit back and watch Lily date Atlas? Watch Atlas be basically a potential stepfather to his baby or young child and not have anything to say about it? Like, how is he not going to lose his temper again? I have this small part of me that kind of hopes things with Atlas don't work out, and somehow Ryle gets better and they end up back together. I mean, it ends with us. I get what the meaning of the book means. We get, it starts with us, so that's supposed to be her and Atlas, right? Or does it starts with us mean her and the little girl, her baby? That could be too. I don't know, guys. I can't wait to get It Starts With Us. Like I said, so many deep emotions, mixed emotions towards the Atlas, just because, you know, I gotta say one more thing. I noticed too when I was reading this, that a lot of the times when she was writing her letters to Ellen DeGeneres, I found myself almost wanting to just get through them as quick as possible and get through those chapters as quick as possible so I could go back to Lily and Ryle's relationship. So maybe I did not allow myself to emotionally feel anything for Atlas because I felt so strongly about Ryle. And I don't know, can you read this book and can you be, as a reader, in love with both of them? I kind of don't think so. I feel like you kind of had to be on one side or the other. I was just uploading this footage and it finally hit me that I think the reason why my feelings towards Ryle are so like tender-hearted is because I've been through some crap in my life long time ago with my ex that really caused me to not want to trust men. And I feel like, and I've talked about this before, like I put Ken through living hell and he never deserved any of it. He never did anything that like gave me a reason to not trust him. Because of my past and like things I've gone through, I took it out on him. So I guess maybe in a way that's why I had so much more sympathy for Ryle, is because I don't feel like he ever intentionally meant to hurt her. It just came from a place of feeling so unsafe in the relationship. Like he was trying to protect himself in a horrible way. Like I never got abusive or anything like that. So again, I don't quite understand it, but I'm just thinking like, I was reading it and feeling so sorry for Ryle the whole entire time. And it's like, why? He was like not a good guy. For whatever reason, I found myself excusing his behavior in some ways. I also personally feel that even if Colleen Hoover felt that Ryle was who she wanted Lily to end up with, she might actually be too afraid to allow that to happen, because I feel like the fans and the readers would go absolutely crazy. Almost like she was okay with the physical abuse and was like romanticizing it and trying to send this message to women out there that like, stay with your man, he can change, he won't ever do it again, when we know in the majority that is not the case. So I don't know, it'll be so interesting to see what happens in this next book. So please comment down below, what did you think about this book? Like, did you have the same feelings as me? Which side are you on? What do you hope for in It Starts With Us? If you've read it already, maybe don't put any spoilers to It Starts With Us in the comments, because I don't want to ruin it for other people that maybe read this book. They're watching this video and they haven't read It Starts With Us yet. I'm obviously going to read It Starts With Us next, and I'll make a video about It Starts With Us once I read it. I want you guys to get my fresh, raw emotion after reading it, just like I did with this book. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on this. Like, I want to have conversations about this because I am obsessed. Bye guys, we'll see you next Sunday with another book video. Have a good one.